Hello and welcome to another exciting tutorial by ECTA Creative Solutions. Today we're going to look at a very natural looking centerpiece where we use your leaves and plants to almost create a runner onto your table. It's a very simple, very natural looking centerpiece, and then with that we're going to also do a small buttonhole that can match the overall theme. So first of all, let's look at what we're going to need. So this really, it depends on what you want to do in the center. Some people just do candles between the leaves, other people use a bird cage. Today we're just going to use a little stand. We're going to make use of dodder. If you can't get hold of dodder, you can use something like bear grass, any type of a grass that you can thread into almost a nest. We're going to have a candle. For our buttonhole, we need corsage pins, your scissors, side cutters, some ribbon for your buttonhole, your florist tape, and then also we've got because we're going to incorporate some roses into the centerpiece, then we have these little water supplies. So it's just a little container that has a small lid on top with a little hole, and you fill this with water and you put your stem of your rose into this, and this means during the course of the night your roses have water. And then in terms of our flowers, we have some baby's breath, we have some white roses. Try and get a rose that has a very nice big head, and then we're just using our penny gum leaves. So I'm just going to put everything to the side, and we're going to start off with our greenery for our centerpiece. You can use something like eucalyptus leaves as well. And you want to almost imagine the center, because this is what's going to go into the center. So your centerpiece, your leaves are going outwards to the sides. So this is really just cutting pieces off your branches and literally just packing them out. The nice thing about using something like this is this doesn't really need water. I would not suggest you do it the day before necessarily, but if you set this up the morning of the event and your baby's breath as well, it'll still look very nice during the course of the evening. So it's only the roses that we need to worry about, and that's where we bring in the water supplies. So I'm just cutting a few pieces off, and you can play around with using smaller leaves, larger leaves. I quite like using the smaller ones, the finer ones. Let's put this aside. So now it's literally just stacking them out. So I've got my two main pieces here. So if you feel, for instance, this one's a bit too wide and you like the look of this one, you can always just cut a bit off from this one. And then we add wherever there's almost like a little missing gap. You just want to make sure that the stems, you continuously put that underneath each other so that we don't just see the stems everywhere. If you'd like to do this to the front of a table, let's say for a main table, and you'd like some of the leaves to drop down on the table, it's very important to use florist wire to just tie them together, otherwise they'll fall off. But on a flat table like this, you have no need for the wire. Okay, so that's my main base done. Then you can just take your dodder or your bare grass. Like I said, this is just a very simple something we're doing in the center. You can do a bird cage, you can do lanterns, you can add additional candles onto the table depending on the size of your table. Then we're going to take our baby's breath. And again, you can play around with colors. So if you wanted to do something with pinks, you can, for instance, make use of wax, which is similar to your baby's breath, also a small pinkish flower. You can use the baby's breath with, let's say, your pink roses. So you can really play around. So all I'm doing is just small little pieces I'm breaking off or cutting off, and I'm just using that to fill some of the gaps and to just add softness to my centerpiece. And again, you can now do a bit more, a bit less. This is really up to personal choice or what your client would like. The only thing with doing a centerpiece like this is you need a lot of time on the day, as you can't really prep this the day before and just take it to the venue and set it up. You need to actually be at the venue, have the tables ready, and then build your centerpiece. Let me just add one more piece over there. Okay. And now comes the roses. Okay, so we're just cutting the top part off here. You see, if you use a rose with a very small head, then you're going to end up, it's almost going to get lost in between all of this. So a nice big rose really does make a big difference. So we've got our rose, we're just putting it in there. Now it has its own little bit of water for the evening. And we can start putting them in here. One thing you can prepare is these little ones. So if you just have a lot of small containers, you can at least fill them with water so long, because that's also something that takes quite a bit of time because they're so small. And this you can do the day before and have them ready for on the event. And again, you can now do as many roses as you'd like. Obviously, the more roses you use, the more expensive it becomes. Okay, and then just check that there's no open areas. You don't want to maybe just add some extra greenery, maybe some extra baby's breath. This is really, at the end of the day, it's just laying your bases and then filling the spaces, and the roses is the one that you want to really balance out. And it's every table is going to be slightly different, because you look at where it needs something extra and then you just add. Okay, so that is our very natural looking centerpiece.